Hey guys, welcome back out to the channel. Today we're going to go over a video that has helped me out in other games whenever I don't have a ton of time, and so I'm hoping it does the same for you guys. So we're going to go over the top teams in each of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes major game modes, and I'm going to talk about, what makes them so good. Are they good outside of this game mode? But a quick little aside, I've had a little bit of a head cold. Hopefully that doesn't, come over too much through the video. But apologies if this is your first video where you're seeing me and you got to hear this kind of hoarse voice, but wanted to get this video out there again because I know how helpful it can be to players that are maybe even a little bit more casual or again, don't have as much time and they just want to know what should they upgrade. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, to start us off, I have our raid team. Now, I know that most people aren't using this team specifically as a raid team. They're usually breaking it up and segmenting it off, but I really like this, and right now I guess I should also say that we are running through the Order 66 raid. So if you come to this video later on and that's not the raid that people are running, understand that that's probably a change, and hopefully I will be updating this as we go along. But for right now, this is the best team. I don't want to include Galactic Legends in this list, so we can see that, this is not a Galactic Legend team, although it's kind of a caveat because the best team for Lord Vader, who is a Galactic Legend, is these 4 clones. You just remove General Tarkin. They also have a lot of 3v3 viability as Grand Moff Tarkin with Scorch and Disguised Clone Trooper ends up becoming kind of its own team, while CX2 and Oppo go with Lord Vader. So there's a lot of use of with them. And again, even outside of this team, as soon as you put in Lord Vader, they work great in TB. Obviously, you have a GL, so it's a little bit of a cheat. But I wanted to mention this. Like, I don't think there's, when I look back on it, there's Jedi Vanguard, which is pretty good. But I'm gonna give the edge to these Imperial troopers with Grand Moff Tarkin. I guess they're clone troopers. But the other faction really is pirates, and honestly, like, they're a Galactic Legend. They don't really get use until you have a Galactic Legend. So yeah, for me personally, I'm gonna say it's these, Grand Moff Tarkin with the clone troopers. Okay, next up, I'm gonna talk about dark side territory battles. Now, again, I'm running Rise of the Empire. If you're running something else, it might not be as important, or there might be even better options, but I really like Reva's team. I really like Inquisition in general, but Reva specifically, once you get her through, your missions, you're building her team up as you have to go anyways. But then if you really want to truly discover, I should say, the true power of this team, you're going to want to add that Merrick TB Omicron. Now, that Merrick TB Omicron is, one, going to help you unlock Reva faster, so you're going to get more shards with it. But 2, I'm telling you, once you guys get Reva, there are times where I press auto and there's like 2 moves that are done, and then the battles are already over. So she makes all the battles Merrick, I should say, Merrick with his Ami, to my knowledge, makes all the battles audible. And again, I haven't gone further in dark side with my current guild with the Merrick TB Ami further than the Haven. So I don't know, later on, maybe you'll get caught up with that, but it's hard for me to see because, again, this team is crazy. Now, outside of this, Inquisitors are a great faction because, one, they're UFUs, they're also Empire, they're also, Inquisitors. So there's a lot of factions that are always at play whenever it comes to Datacrons, and quite honestly, like I said, they're just used everywhere. They've got a bunch of Amis everywhere, GAC, TW, now TB. So I really like them in all facets of the game mode. They're even great in Conquest a lot of times if you have the right data disk set up. So I really like them. I think this is a team that you can't go wrong with. And again, on dark side territory battles, especially on planets like Dathomir and stuff, that can kind of take forever. That Maragami really just cuts through everything. Okay, so with light side territory battles, again, I'm going to put Jedi Master Mace Windu with his Jedi Vanguard. Again, this was an option for the raid, but I figured this would actually be more fitting. If you had the Depa Bilaba Ami, I always just call her Dua Lipa, so that's why I kind of struggle with that name. But If you add that Ami, I'm telling you right now, this team becomes so much fun, and it's actually goes everywhere. And again, for light side territory battles, you're going to have a lot of light side nodes, obviously, but you're also going to have a lot of Jedi nodes. And I haven't had any issues just pressing the auto button and just letting this team ride. Now, I know his release is a little bit more controversial. I think people wanted him to do some crazy things inside of GAC, but I will say in territory battles, he's fantastic. He kills Galactic Legends. He's a very strong, even defensive team. You need, a really strong counter to get to him. And in TW or in GAC, I will say, like, people saying that he's super easy to beat. If they don't have the right squad, I'm going to challenge that, right? There a lot of people I'm seeing do C solos, or they might even run some sort of Inquisitor, but there's usually banner bleed. The best thing that I've seen is honestly something like Treya, but Treya is a very strong team. So I'm going to give these guys the best for, light side territory battles, but they also have a lot of uses elsewhere. Okay, now it's time for everyone's favorite. We've got Conquest. I will say this is maybe a little bit of a cop-out answer. I've heard Queen Amidala, especially with the Obi-Wan, Omicron, really can do some really great things, and it really usually captures a lot of feats on the way. But I don't have that, so I can't speak from experience. What I can speak from experience with, though, is that no matter really what happens, no matter what kind of data disk you get, Han Solo starts first. And oftentimes, so long as you have the Zetas on Commander Luke Skywalker, there's some resistance, right? And that's going to feed turn meter. And there's just a lot that goes on with this team. So again, just being able to start first and kind of get your team running off of the bat, I think is a really fantastic thing. There are a few teams, obviously, they can't beat. Sometimes you'll just hit a Phoenix wall, depending on your relic levels. And it's just like because of the Kanan unique and stuff like that, it just feels like you can't really get through them. But again, data disk, depending, like there's also ways to get around that. So I do think that this is one of the best teams. Like you can run this thing down to like 10% stamina and usually win. So that's why I picked CLS. Outside of, Conquest, they have seen sort of a deterioration, I guess, on, other game modes. They can still punch up and do some fine things, but I think we're starting to see times where, depending again on datacrons and stuff like that and the meta, I think we're seeing sometimes where we're like, hey, the kits are still useful, but the team is just a little bit outdated. So I will say again, mid game, beginning game, like this team's fantastic. It's got a lot of punch up potential, but in the end game, it is a team that is probably seeing the end of its life cycle. Okay, it's finally time to start talking about my bread and butter, which is PvP, or at least my passion. I can't say that I'm the best PvPer out there, but I'm pretty good. I am in Kyber 1, and I've been in pretty top end TW guilds, and right now, I have taken a step back, but I will say this. For me, there's a lot of TW teams. TW is my passion. I love the idea of all 50 people coming together, working together to get those pesky walls of defense down. And to me, there's a lot of options that could go in here, but Trench is him. Trench is the team for me. They have a lot of punch up potential. And part of this is probably because a lot of people don't give Trench the respect that he deserves. Honestly, I see a lot of Trench haters out there. He's great. Now, I will say, 3 Omicrons is how you get him to be the best version of himself. 2 Omicrons is what I feel like is the minimum, but most people are just running around with either 0 Omicrons on him or just 1. That basic ability where there is a undispellable ability block, that is money. But people will read it and they'll probably say it's whatever. Now, I will also say, like, depending on, datacrons that come out and stuff like that and how the meta shakes up, it does change what he can counter. Obviously, this is what datacrons were for, but for the most part, even when he doesn't have like a specific datacron, I've placed him on defense and he still gets cold holds, or he will still, rip banners away from my opponents. That being said, he also does really well, and so I already just talked about GAC. He also does really well in TB. A lot of planets, if you place these 5 in there, they're going to be able to be either audible or mostly audible. So I actually really like him outside of things, right? Especially Wat Tambor. You know, you give someone the weapons tech. You like I like to give weapons tech to actual Admiral Trench, so that way when he gets a kill, it's a perma kill. So stuff like on Dathomir, and then you've got a second perma kill because you got Jango Fett as well. So there's a lot of stuff that he can do. And again, when you're talking about TW, you're looking at stuff like, at a minimum, Rey. At, again, depending on datacrons and stuff like that, you're looking at someone like Ahsoka Tano. He can kill Lord Vader. It's a bit of an uphill battle, but you know, those are the major ones that you see on defense. I haven't really ever tried him against Pirate King Hondo, but I don't think that he's going to be able to do that, to be quite honest. But yeah, he can really punch up, and that's why I really like him for TW. Okay, and our final team is GAC, the one that probably people really care about. I will say this. This is the super team, and there are so many versions of this team. There are so many good options as well for GAC. I mean, I know people are going to say Bane. I will say, though, the reason why I picked Seer, Malicos, Ufus is because it really feels like there's no limit for them. There are certainly limits for a guy like Bane. Everyone loves Bane. I love Bane too. One, because he's a very minimal team investment, right? You have Bane plus some sort of Sith ally that's usually on relics, and that you throw an awesome datacron on him and he just kind of does some cool things. But that being said, he does have limitations. There are GLs that he just can't beat, you know, by himself, right? With just that one ally. Now, if you add C in there, there's a lot of leeway added to that, but I'm going to go with Seer Malicos. I like that base right now is doing so much. And yes, I have the super team. I will also say right now, Stranger is just coming to his, you know, his first term. And he looks like he's going to be probably the guy that takes over this position. Quite honestly, just early indications have me believing that he will be the guy inside of GAC. But for right now, until we get Maul, and because they are safeguarded by a datacron, you know, there's some really cheap counters to Stranger. But right now we're seeing a super team kind of come up, and it's mostly because of datacron. But I am curious to see what they look like post the datacron, and then with Maul, I do believe that they will take over this spot. But more about this team. This team just feels like there's no limits, right? If you want to kill Rey, great, go after her. If you want to kill Lord Vader's a little bit tougher, but I've seen it be done. If you want to kill Pirate King Hondo, go after him. Yeah, there's just really no limit. They'll kill every other team that's not a GL. Yeah, I really love this team. And this is coming from someone that really didn't respect this. I mean, you're still looking at a Relic 7 Terran Malicus. You're still looking at Relic 7 Seer. I didn't respect this team. I'll say that much. And giving the super team to them obviously helps them punch up a little bit, but they are really fun. And again, being an Ufu, there just always seems to be some sort of datacron that kind of helps boost them up. So I think that's why I'm going to go with them as the top GAC team. But that's my thoughts on this list. Let me know what your guys' top team for each game mode is. If I got this right, let me know. If I got it wrong, let me know as well. Leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more content. And again, sorry for my voice. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a distraction, but I appreciate you guys watching anyways. And we'll see you guys in the next one.